You in this battle, man, I'll soon be dead. I'll glue your face to my dick so I can fuck with your head. I got metaphors coming through my pores. You probably never been in a battle before, so I hope you realize your mistake. There ain't no party, got some candles, this won't be a piece of cake.
Folks, welcome to the Before Hours podcast, internet radio phenomenon hosted by an occasional morning person. I ask the most interesting people I know about sleep, routine, life, love, stress, and setbacks. If you want to write to us, you can slide into my DMs on Instagram, Bobby Sheehan, LOL. LOL, because you know I bring the laughter. I also encourage comments on the YouTube channel. So the comments in this very video, please write us your congratulations, your criticisms, your concerns, a death threat. Whatever you feel. If you're a big RFK fan and you want to talk about it, we were talking about this before we recorded, and I guess this is a great time for me to introduce my returning guest. She's a comedian and she's a friend. Can I say friend?
Yeah, of course.
And then all
what? No, this is purely transactional. This relationship.
We're business associates.
Yeah, this is my colleague.
My colleague, Gabby Jordan Brown. How you doing, Gabby?
Good. How are you, Bobby?
I'm decently average. Hey, before we get into it, why don't you let people know where they could find you?
You can find me at Hip Soccer Mom on Instagram.
Hell yeah.
I don't have a lot going on right now. I do post really funny things on Close Friends.
Mm-hmm.
So
start a friendship with Gabby.
So slide into my DMs with something funny, and then we'll meet up in person, and then develop a years-long friendship, and then you can see all the memes. But you can also look out for in February, I think February 21st. I know it's a long time away. That's when I'm planning to do an hour at Grove.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And I just did 30 minutes. So I'm kind of a little nervous about that pace of building the material.
Yeah.
But I'm one of those people who doesn't function without a deadline. So it's happening and you should come. And if I bomb, then we can all, bomb together and it'll be a good time. But yeah, look out for that. Follow me, Hip Soccer Bomb.
Isn't it nice to do stand-up comedy for long enough that the idea of bombing is less scary? You're like, if I bomb, then I'll try again tomorrow.
That's actually what I did my first open mic. That's what the person I did it with said. It was my friend Nick, who lives in LA. He doesn't do comedy anymore, but we went to an open mic together. And before I went, I was like, what if I bomb? And he said, then we'll do it again tomorrow. And it got me through that entire set. But I think once you catch the bug, you just kind of don't care anymore.
Once you have HIV, there's no going back.
And I do. I do. HIV. Honey, I'm viral.
oh, you still have the virus. Okay.
I've got it, baby. HIV. Honey, I'm viral.
HIV stands for honey, I'm viral. The HIV virus in particular.
Well, you know what's crazy? I'm trying to foster a cat right now.
Okay.
But all the cats that they list, a lot of them have FIV, which is feline AIDS.
Feline AIDS.
And
those slutty cats, dude.
People won't adopt them because they're these cats are gonna give me AIDS.
Which I assume it doesn't work.
It does not work. Yeah, it can't be transmitted.
Even if you're fucking your cat, which you shouldn't be doing either.
Which you should not.
No, it's not the same as a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a horse.
Or a horse. Oh,
yeah.
God. I mean, we're roughly the same age. You've seen Mr. Hands, I assume.
I somehow avoided it.
Oof.
Because I'm a girl. I got
Connor,
to avoid those things. No.
Can you pull it up real quick?
No.
Go on Google incognito mode and search Mr. Hands.
You probably don't even need to go incognito anymore. It's probably just around.
Well, no,
That's the guy who gets fucked and dies, right?
He gets fucked by a horse, but he doesn't die. That's a common misconception. And I'm all about disbanding misinformation in this podcast, right? So Mr. Hands is the guy. By the way, interesting fellow, could not stop getting fucked by horses. And he didn't own horses. He would go onto people's ranch and bother the horses there. There was one guy that was like, this man keeps breaking into my, I almost said apartment because I'm an idiot. My apartment full of horses. He's like, this man keeps trespassing on my property for the express purpose of a horse fucking him. I'm tired of this.
So my question is, when you say bother the horses, you mean molest the horses,
He's
right? You don't mean
horses.
hey, come here, buddy. Come on.
Hey, horsey,
You're a piece
horsey.
of shit. Everyone at work hates you. And then the horse gets hard.
I think, okay, here's the thing, is I think I'm going to say something controversial.
Yet brave.
And I'm going to say something controversial yet brave, which is that the horse, quote unquote, wants to fuck somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
But by nature of it being an animal, it can't consent to sex, of course. But the horse wants to, right? I don't think it takes a lot of coaxing to get the horse to. I think if you present a horse a hole, the worst children's book of all time.
If you give a mouse a cookie, if you give a horse to a hole, if you bring a horse to water, it'll fuck the hole.
I don't think they put like peanut butter in his asshole. I think he just showed his asshole and the horse is like, all right, you do not look like another horse, but I don't get a lot of options. I'm alone in this field
I'm
all day.
alone in this apartment.
Apartment.
There's no other horses here. I'm the only one.
You know how guys are like prison gay? I think if you're an animal and there's like enough
You're
not
human
animals,
gay?
you're human gay, dude.
And then the other horses make fun of you. They're like, yo, you went human. Yo, you went human gay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, surely also you know about, there's an article from like 2014 and it's a guy who fucks horses and he's being interviewed about it. And he speaks very candidly about the experience. The article is called What It's Like to Date a Horse.
Oh, to date a horse.
Yeah, he's not just talking about sex. It's like romantic.
Okay.
Listen, I just want to express, I don't necessarily agree with these sentiments, but the article is fascinating. You should check it out. It was published 10 years ago. It starts with, so the interviewer is like, tell me about the first time you were attracted to horses. He says, I saw a horse for the first time when I was 7. And then when I was 12 or 13, it really developed. This is a real sentence from the article. He says, when I was growing up, everyone else was getting Playboy magazines. I got a magazine called The Big Book of Horse.
Oh, gosh.
And then it just goes on to describe how he met his current horse girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
Oh, this is the other weird thing about him. He was bisexual for humans. He had a gay male lover who died of AIDS. And then but he's always been attracted to only girl horses.
Interesting.
He's not gay for horses.
Well, you know what? That kind of makes sense because horses have a fucking hog on them.
Yeah, it's I mean, think about Mr. Senor Hands.
Senor Hands.
Yeah.
May he rest in peace.
Is heaven a barn for him?
Maybe. Oh my God. Look at us, modern day philosophers. If you get fucked to death by horse. Oh, what I originally wanted to say was he doesn't die on camera. He dies like hours later.
Oh.
Because as a teenage or preteen boy, or however I was when I was expecting to watch a man die, you can watch a man get severely injured. That's for sure. This is getting demonetized.
Does he? We're moving on. Yeah, but you should read the article.
I am so curious about the human mind in general and how there's so many opportunities for things to go wrong.
Yeah.
You know, like that guy, and we don't have to get into this whole thing about free will, but that guy did not choose to want to fuck horses.
That's correct.
This is an infliction you put on. And there's people like walking around that haven't fucked a horse, but want to so bad. Like their commitment to like their marriage and their job and their community keep them from fucking or getting fucked by a horse, but they want it so very bad.
Well, that's the other thing that he reveals. He's married. He's married to a human woman.
Oh my God.
And he has been for 19 years, but he still goes and sees his horse girlfriend and she knows.
So it's like an open relationship.
Yeah. Yes, it actually is.
Holy moly. Polyamorous.
Yeah. Polyspecies.
Yikes.
More like Polly gonna kill myself. This is crazy.
They're truly, wow. Maybe there is someone for everyone. This guy is like, hey, babe, I know we've been dating for a while. Before this goes any further, I need you to know something about me. And then he brings out a horse and she's like, oh, okay, you ride horses? That's kind of gay. And he's like, hold on.
Hold on.
There's nothing gay about me fucking this woman horse.
And then she's like, oh, thank God you're straight.
That's the thing too. Do you think she's worried that her human pussy doesn't feel as good as a horse pussy?
I mean, you know, it's funny in the article, I feel like her perspective is a little bit erased.
Uh-huh.
Like, the interviewer is like, so what does your wife think? And he's like, I don't know. She knows. You know, like he doesn't say, I'm sure it agonizes her. Like knowing her.
That's such a man way, though. He's like, I'm sure it's fine. She's like shaking, holding a
She's
cigarette.
holding a cigarette. She's like Michelle Williams in Brokeback Mountain, watching those two gay guys, but she's watching her husband and a horse.
I have an evil thought. What if she is like, shall we say, a homely woman? What if she has, dare I say, a horse face?
A face only a horse fucker could love. Oh, God.
Sir, I'm going to ask you not to write the vows anymore.
All right, I'm reading my wedding vows. Nay. Oh, sorry.
How many people do you think want to fuck a horse? Has Gallup done a poll?
Gallop? Are we talking horse language now? We galloping?
Possibly, dude.
Possibly. I don't know. We should do more research into this. I do think we possibly have bigger problems.
Yeah.
In the United States. But this is up there for me.
I mean, if there's something that could unite this very politically divided nation, it could be that it's weird to fuck animals.
I don't know, man. Because then it's going to be a who are you to judge situation. Then I feel like there's going to be a cohort of like, people being like, actually, my buddy does it and it's okay. Then it's going to become a whole anti-woke thing. Like, oh, the wokes are trying to like make us not fuck horse, because that's how all the discourse happens now.
Yeah.
Remember the whole thing about like gas stoves? People were like, oh, they want to turn off our gas stoves. Well, guess what? I'm leaving my gas on for hours and you can't stop me, liberals. Do you remember that?
I do not. I'm not surprised though.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Because people will just take stuff out of so like I feel like nothing, even horse fucking, can unite or the opposition to it can unite this country.
Yeah, there is that sort of thing. Like, remember there was a story that basically there was this idea that there was a school in which a boy was identifying as a cat, and then there was this whole thing of like, Johnny says he's a cat. His pronouns are purr,
meow meow,
meow meow, and then people were the Facebook boomers in particular were so mad, and then it was just like, this didn't happen. It literally didn't happen.
They AI'd him into a cat. They were like, this boy is medically transitioning into a cat. They like AI him with legs and it's so sad. And he's like crying. It's like, they made him transition. Share if you disagree.
I the beginnings of AI, which is just Photoshop, but if you're an old enough person with an internet connection and a Facebook account, a good Photoshop will get you as well as any AI can.
Oh yeah.
And I remember some older people I was friends with on Facebook. They shared a picture of then President Obama next to the leader of North Korea, and they were parasailing together. And the comment was like, our so-called president is fraternizing with the enemy, and it's just so clearly doctored. I mean, first of all, why? If you told me that Kim Jong-il, is that the Kim Jong-un?
Kim Jong-un, I think.
Kim Jong-il, rest in peace. But if you told me Kim Jong-un and Joe Biden are parasailing, I would need more than a photograph. I would need, I don't know, ABC, Associated Press. Hell, you throw in Breitbart. I'm like, okay, Breitbart's talking about it on the right. Fucking ABC.
I need the receipts from the organization that let them fly.
I need to know what their thing is.
Yeah, I need to. It's like a North Korean guy. Like, yeah, I don't know. He just showed up, and I told him he couldn't do it. He was too fat. But because Kim Jong Un is a chubby man.
He's a big boy, not to body shame.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Yeah,
it's okay. It's okay to be a big boy.
Yeah,
I'm something of a big boy myself.
Yeah. I'm a former big boy, dude.
Really?
I was such a fat little boy.
I'm a former skinny girl.
Oh, so we just switched.
We switched bodies.
Bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a former skinny girl. Well, I was a skinny boy too. I never figured out the right. I yo-yoed.
Yeah.
I was like a little boy with like a little frame.
Yeah.
Right. And then I got, God bless me, I got the puberty hunger without the requisite growth spurt for a while.
Uh-oh.
Right.
Uh-oh.
And then I didn't spurt too much further.
Yeah, when's the growth spurt coming?
I know. Yikes. But I did get enough where I like filled out, And then I did alcoholism in my 20s and I got fat again.
Yeah.
So it's been a roller coaster.
So you're sober.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long?
March of 2016 I stopped.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So it's going on 8 years.
It's going on 8 years, dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
The full
it's
Trump era.
The full.
Well, there was Biden in between.
And the Biden in the middle. Yeah. I stopped during Obama, and yeah, actually, it's funny too because when Trump won the first election in 2017, I don't know why I'm saying that like anybody doesn't remember, but I didn't do comedy for like a whole week because I was like, it's gonna be too annoying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I get it though, because it's weird to talk about anything else, but like respectfully to my colleagues, nothing's gonna be like, oh wow, that's a great point. You know what I mean? We're all just sort of. So the same thing happened this time around. Actually, we were supposed to record the day Trump won.
We were, yeah.
Which would have been.
We were kind of like, oh man.
We would have not have been talking about horse fucking.
No,
we wouldn't have been in the mood.
No, definitely not. I mean, I will say I'm pretty shocked by people having like a 2016 level reaction to it. Because I kind of like, so when the election was going on, I was like building a shelf. Because I wanted to distract myself. Just
do something.
I checked in at the lesbian convention. I punched my card in, and then I went to build my shelf with all the other lesbians while we were humming Alanis Morissette on the assembly line.
Okay.
And then I was like watching the results come in on my phone. And it just kept going like more and more for Trump. And all the articles were like, here's how Kamala can still win. Like, now it's all about the blue wall. I was just like, fuck, like we're screwed. And it was just, everything was so overwhelmingly red. Like Congress went red. And I had this moment of like, of course, right? Like, I just feel like, I think it's no reason to vote for Trump, but I think we liberals have a horrific branding problem.
Yep.
We look stupid. Like the conservatives have crazy solidarity all around.
Yeah.
And like we're here. Half of my friends are fucking arguing about like age gaps in cartoons. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? I don't understand.
Yeah, everyone right of center is like, here's your congressperson, write to them now. Meanwhile, we're like, is this anime problematic?
Oh shit.
Oh no, see, we're speaking the truth.
Whoa.
I think that's just the light that fell.
There's the liberals now.
Yeah.
They're coming after us.
Yeah.
But holy shit, it's like, I don't know, because I think that like if we had run on policy, like we actually might have won. And I'm starting to realize like people don't actually care about left versus right. Because like think about the way Rogan flipped from fucking Bernie to Trump.
Literally, who will be on my program?
Yeah.
That's what I think his thing was.
Because
what I was fascinated to learn was that Harris said yes.
Really?
But she said, I can't come to Austin and I can't block out 3 hours. But if you come to me, I could do 1 hour. And then Rogan said, no, I don't do my show that way, which is fine, I guess. But then don't say like in good faith you were trying to hear both people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it makes me wonder, like, should she have just gone and done the podcast?
Every Democrat is now going to go on that show. That he is CNN now. It's weird. But
I know.
It is what it is.
I do think if he'd interviewed her, he would have probably come away being like, I don't know, she's pretty nice.
That's the thing. And like, listen, I used to listen to Rogan all the time. You know, he's very fun. He talks about aliens, kettlebells. He'll have comedians on and they'll have a nice time, you know, but he is simple in a way that I think if he talked to someone, he'd be like, they're not so bad, which is how most people are.
Yes, I agree.
You think about most people the most Trump supporting person in the world could be sitting there and we would find something to talk about. As long as we didn't talk about politics or didn't talk about it a lot. Even if we did talk about politics, I'd be like, he's fine.
Yeah.
We shook hands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, you can't have that attitude if what happens on your show sways the views of millions of people that are going to vote next week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think she should have gone, honestly. I think maybe she just wanted to avoid going to Austin. She didn't want to do a mic there.
She didn't want to do mics in Austin.
Yeah.
I also think like I mean I respect her as a prosecutor and as a legislator. I don't know if she's the best person that uses words. Ironically, I failed just now too.
You should have run.
Some people have a way with words and others not way.
Yeah.
You know? And she's not, I mean, Trump's an idiot, but he has such low neuroticism that he could riff his way into making sense.
Yeah.
Like he's the embodiment of the, Steve Carell from The Office, Michael Scott.
Yeah.
Where, you know, the whole thing is like, sometimes I don't even know where a sentence is going. I just hope it finds me along the way. Except Trump always finds.
He finds
it.
Yeah.
He must have taken improv or something because he's a master at it.
He's a brilliant orator, unfortunately. Yeah. Have you ever seen the tweet where he's talking about, I guess there's like a documentary about Elizabeth Warren.
Uh-huh.
And he's talking about, there's a part in the documentary where she says to her husband, "Thank you for being here." And then Trump tweets, "It's their house. He's supposed to be there." There's something that really cracks me up about that.
Oh no.
He should have just been like a comic. Like he should have just done nothing political. But what people forget about him is like I think he's insane now, and I don't think he's at his right mind. But back in the day, his whole thing was like money and power. And he was a fucking lib.
Yeah.
He was a New York City lib. All of the like millennials slightly older than me and like anything up to like mid boomer are like obsessed with Trump in a way that's like all the liberal boomers are sort of like they know everything about him.
Yeah.
Because of like the New York lore, because he was this playboy.
Right.
And they know like that he's a sellout or whatever, because
Mm-hmm.
this is what his image used to project.
Mm-hmm.
But what they don't understand is nobody fucking cares.
Mm-hmm.
He just embodies stuff to people. Like nobody really cares who he actually is.
I saw a sign in the town that I grew up in. I was visiting my parents in upstate New York. And this was before the first election that Trump won. And the sign said Trump 2016. And then below it, making liberals cry. And I was like, that's their party. That liberals are annoying.
Yeah.
Let's make them cry.
Yeah.
So don't film yourself crying on Instagram and post it. That's what they want.
That's what they want. Don't cry ever.
Mm-hmm.
Just stand up and I don't know, get shot in the ear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing too. Like when he got shot and then he did this shit.
Oh my God.
I was like, I mean, I hate him. And even I'm like, that's a cool photo.
It's a sick ass photo. That's why people think the whole thing was like staged.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But people thought it was like a WWE stunt. Because how the fuck do you just nick the ear?
Yeah. Well, it's just how random life is. Because also, how the fuck do you find the one building that the Secret Service is not looking at?
I know.
You know?
Yeah.
Apparently, it was an impulse that kid did it that day. You know what I mean? And it's like, I mean, I think Trump was gonna. I was very annoying on election day and the day after the election because I like being right. It's my favorite thing. And
I also really like being right.
Are
you a Scorpio?
No, I'm a Virgo.
Oh, that's another sign that likes to be right.
Uh-huh.
I'm a Virgo moon.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know if we are in Bushwick, so
Okay.
you gotta read up.
No, I have not. Here's the thing: is that I don't know anything about astrology, but I also don't know anything about sports.
Mhm.
I'm just some guy, you know. I don't fit in anywhere.
You know a lot about the Civil War.
I do.
And in a way, sports and astrology are sort of the Civil War of interests.
Oh,
They're at war.
okay.
So you don't know about either of them, but in a way, you know about both.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. I'm an orator.
I
should run for fucking president.
Next election will be the first election in which I can run for president.
You gonna do it?
No. Can you imagine what? Like, listen, I do
The
stand-up
first president to be on Comedy Fight Club.
Dude, yikes. Although Trump would win if he went on there.
Oh my God.
Imagine trying to roast Trump and the whole time he's going, wrong. Not true.
Tiny Bobby.
Yeah. That's yes.
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, he's just the timing, his comedic time. This is what's unfortunate is like, I hate that he's so funny.
Right.
And the way that like the strategy of him being an existential threat has just backfired, and the liberals just keep digging themselves deeper and deeper into it and running as if everyone hates him.
Yeah.
And everyone loves him.
Yeah.
The whole like Kamala's whole thing is like, I'm not Trump. And everyone was like, well, fuck, we want Trump.
Yeah.
That drives me crazy.
Yeah. It's I think you brought up the Civil War. I think we're
going for it.
Okay. This is gonna sound melodramatic, but I promise it's not. I've thought a lot about it. So there was a period between the end of Andrew Jackson's presidency to the beginning of Abraham Lincoln's presidency, which was an entire generation, like decades, right? Where no one had 2 terms because we were so upset with each other as a country that we just couldn't elect the same person twice. And I think that we're in that era again. Like, sure, Trump got a second term, but he didn't get reelected. So we're going to have a string of 1-term presidents for a long time. Obama is our Andrew Jackson, basically, and Andrew Jackson would hate that. But Obama's I think for a generation, Obama is going to be the last reelected president.
I think you might be right. Because like you know how people say it's like a pendulum? I think the pendulum is just swinging back and forth. Although like overall it is moving more and more to the right, but it's moving to the right in a way where like the Democrats are just becoming more conservative. I feel like the Republicans of 2004 are like basically liberals now.
Yeah.
In policy, at least. Like the things that Republicans like want to do are like way further right. And then the things that liberals are doing or like Democrats are, I don't know how to explain it. It's just like, I don't know. I just feel like they do fucking nothing.
Yeah.
I just feel so upset with the Democratic Party, and like, I am a fucking lib, you know? I want trans people to have rights and I want things to be okay. And but I think that like we really are fucked up. I do have some hope that like, I don't know, like, remember the Muslim ban, you know, in 2016? That lasted like a week and everyone's like, wait, like that's actually really impractical. We can't do that. People have families. I think that maybe that'll happen where like a couple of really conservative laws will go into effect right away and everyone will just be like, hold on, like we didn't actually want all of that. We just thought we wanted that.
Right. Like the one that I think of is like immigration, because there's 12 million people in the US that are here illegally. And that's a puzzle, right? Because you don't want open borders, but you also don't want to have draconian laws that break up families, that rob everyone of their civil liberties, right? And I think there will be some sort of, because you can't show people data. This sounds like condescending, but I think it's true, is that most people don't look at data, but most people will look at the optics of something. And I think the optics of seeing like ordinary immigrants that are here illegally separated from their families, like we're one New York Times picture of like a child watching his father be taken away while he's crying, from like everybody like in the center ish being like, oh fuck, I didn't know that's what I was voting for, you know?
That's possible. But
so
also,
if you have a camera, be vigilant.
Go to the border, take some photos, just see what you find. You might like it. You might not find some mountains. I don't know. Borders are beautiful in America. Seriously. You should even just go down to Mexico for a bit. See if you like it. Yeah. I don't know though. I mean, I think some people really are that right wing, but I think that like the way we vote in presidential elections, it's like the way we watch football. It's pure vibes. Like at this point, the way we vote, like it's basically as if they like put the candidates in front of us and they're like, what do you like more? Like it's not about any kind. So I think that if policy is fucked during this Trump era, people will likely vote Democrat again.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's another thing that like happened with Biden getting elected was kind of during the thick of COVID stuff where like people were like, oh, Trump like fired the whole pandemic response team. Yeah. And that's why we have this situation. And I think that's really one of the only reasons Biden won.
Yeah, which it's funny because I don't even I don't even think it's totally fair to say COVID was Trump's fault.
No, probably not.
So it's kind of interesting. He lost the 2020 election for a reason that I don't even agree with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, well, I'm glad I don't know. I think we'll have one-term presidents for a long time just because we're kind of just upset. And my thing is that I think us being upset, it might not even have any grounding in reality. You know what I mean? Because you look at like a lot of numbers and it's like, well, we have more wealth. And it's true, the wealthiest people are becoming even more wealthy, but like the poverty line is moving steadily up, right? So people have more money, but they feel like they don't.
There's also like inflation is apparent.
That's true.
It's like something visual. It's in front of you. It's like, oh, these eggs cost more. The other thing is, I don't think Trump's going to help with the fucking eggs. The eggs became such a symbol, but like nothing's going to fucking help with the eggs. Like the eggs are just going to be priced high. I don't know.
Can I say too, a lot of this, a lot of the way I feel, I think is shaped by the fact, well, it's twofold. I don't have kids, right? And I have an it is what it is mentality. So the thing about eggs is I don't know how much they cost. Listen, I buy eggs. When I pick up the brand that I like, I make sure all the eggs aren't broken. I have never once looked at the tag. I don't have tons of money. But I never once looked at the tag. I've never once paid attention to it getting rung up. And maybe I would have more money if eggs cost less.
Yeah.
Like maybe you put that mentality into an alternative universe and I would look at my bank account and it'd be less. But even then, I guess that would make me sad for a second. But then I would probably think it'd be like that sometimes. You know what I mean? But that's the privilege of not having children.
Yeah, that's
because I literally that's when I had a day job, my boss would be mad at me, and literally I would just be like, the worst thing that happens is that he fires me and I get unemployment and I buy everything with my credit card, and I could even pay my rent with my credit card with a 30% fee, right?
Yeah.
And then my credit is bad. But what happens when my credit's bad? I can't own a home. I'm not gonna fucking own a home.
None of us are ever gonna own a fucking home. Let's be honest.
Oh, I'm not gonna buy a car from a dealership. I'm not gonna buy a car from a dealership. So I don't know, but I think I don't know. I get how this could come across like, I'm not saying there aren't people struggling, but I think sometimes people see the price of eggs go up and they take it personally. Like life isn't just like, it isn't just an it is what it is situation sometimes. Like what does life afford you eggs to be the same price until you die?
Well, sometimes I just think like little semantic phrases take off. For this election, it was the price of eggs. That was like, it became like this catchphrase that was supposed to symbolize like the craziness of inflation. I feel like it's the same thing as like, you know, when a conservative is like mad at a liberal and they say like, oh, the blue hairs. Do you, you hear that? That's like a little semantic thing that is caught on, like the blue hairs in Brooklyn, which to me, that phrase is so funny because it's like, I've never understood why they've latched onto blue hair specifically, and I can't tell if what they mean is like ugly people or gay people or like.
Can I say, if someone has blue hair, I'm pretty confident I know everything they believe. I'm like almost, if I ever hear a person with dyed blue hair and a septum ring, and the gauges go, well, you know, being a cop is a hard job. I will give you, dear listener, $1,000.
Well, now I want to see it. You know how they have like the black people in the front at the Trump rallies?
Right.
I want to see like a blue-haired person at the Trump rally.
Blue lives matter. That's why she dyed her hair.
They're blue.
Yeah.
I think David Dobbins has a joke like that where he's like, you know why these women got blue hair? It's because they love cops.
David Dobbins was just on.
Really?
He's you and him. Oh man, you guys should do a podcast together. You're both silly geese.
Oh, I'm actually obsessed with him in a way that's like demented.
Is it because he has beautiful calves?
His calves are beautiful. It's more that like when I talk to him, I feel like I have the most fun that I've ever had.
Yeah.
It's one time I got too drunk at a party and I tried to explain to him the saga of Broadway actor Jonathan Groff being shown Lea Michelle's vagina. Do you know about this?
So
he didn't.
I'm very sorry. I don't even know who these people are.
Okay. Jonathan Groff, he's like an actor. Who he is not terribly real. He's gay and he's super hot. Those are the important things to know.
Gay hot guy.
Gay hot guy. Then do you know who Lea Michelle is?
No.
She's the girl. You ever see those memes on Twitter about the woman who like can't read? The actress? Okay. So Lea Michelle was this actress. She started on Broadway and then she went into projects like Glee on television. And then she kind of became like a big deal. She recently got cast as Fanny Bryce in Funny Girl on Broadway. And then she was in some controversy in 2020 because one of her old co-stars on Glee said she was like really racist.
Oh.
Like this black co-star was, it's not funny, but the black co-star was like, Lea Michelle said she was going to take a shit in my wig. Like, it's not funny and I shouldn't laugh, but that's just a crazy thing to say.
That's wrong. Is that racist? I guess if you're not shitting in everyone's wigs equally, it's problematic.
I think she probably didn't say it to any of the white people.
Oh, because a wig is something that a black woman wears often. Okay.
Yeah.
And then assuming she has a wig.
Right.
And it probably wasn't like, here's what I think would be a good adhesive. Okay, so it's wrong.
I'm going to adhere your wig with my boobs. That's not what she was trying to do.
Then it's all a big misunderstanding.
It's all a big misunderstanding. So that's the context and who these people are. So Lea Michelle and Jonathan Groff were co-stars when they first started off on Broadway together. And Lea Michelle had a huge crush on Jonathan Groff, but he was gay. And they had to do a sex scene together. They had to simulate a sex scene on stage.
Okay.
And Jonathan Groff was like nervous. He was like, oh my God, I've never had sex with a woman. At the time he was closeted. So he was like, everyone's going to know I've never had sex with a woman, that I've never even seen a vagina. And Lea Michelle went, well, they were really close at the time. She went, well, do you want to see my vagina? And he was like, okay. And then she like took a desk lamp and like showed him. And you know her ass was wet. Like, you know she wanted him to like go straight at that moment. And like, I'm sure she was like, you can touch it if you want. Like, this is the horniest bitch alive, I can imagine. And he just looked at it and was like, wow, fascinating. Explaining all this to David Dobbins, his head looked like it was going to fall off. Like, he was so confused at all the lore. He could not keep up. He could not stop interjecting, which is one of the things I love about him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a crazy thing. To be so horny, you become someone's diorama.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of an equivalent that could happen, but it doesn't do the same thing for a man. Like, if a woman's like, I've never seen a penis before, I'm like, well, if I show you, it's a crime. If I show you.
I have seen a picture of my friend's penis because I asked.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I asked, like, we were having dinner and we were talking about it. And I was like, can I see your dick? Mm-hmm. He was like, 100 times he asked me, he's like, are you?
He brought the form and the clipboard.
Yeah, he brought the NBA.
Picture of you holding your ID and smiling.
Smile. Next to it, it's like this, I love to see this dick. I'm like, I consent. Yeah. But I wanted to. And then he showed me and I was like, fascinating. Mm-hmm. I was looking at the balls like, what the hell do those do? You know?
It is, genitals are kind of like snowflakes.
Each one different?
Each one's a little different. Yeah.
Or cold. Genitals are all freezing cold. You ever notice that?
Dude, whenever I have shrinkage, I'm always personally embarrassed. Even though it's 100% physiological. Oh, there's a part of me that fucking hates it.
Oh, like when you're in the cold?
Yeah, when you're in the... For the ladies that don't know what I'm talking about. Ladies.
Talking about shrinkage. Like,
Shrinkage.
ladies, when I shrink,
Yeah.
here's how it looks.
Because women don't have an equivalent to shrinkage, I don't think. Their pussies don't get
No,
smaller
ours expand.
in the cold.
Yeah, they
Don't
get
fuck with me, Gabby.
They get so big, they take you in for a second, and then it's kind of like a black hole situation. It like envelops you,
Oh, that is someone's fetish.
but it happens in a split second. You don't even see it.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
but someone's fetish is probably like a snapshot of that happening.
being fucking swallowed
Swallowed
by a giant pussy. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that's an anime somewhere, a hentai rather. That's
It's probably very problematic.
This is-
We should argue about it.
This is reminding me of the just like making up nonsense about women's bodies and men not knowing any better. There's a tweet like fellas, it was by a woman. She tweeted, fellas, we know when you've ejaculated in the last 6 hours, we could smell it. And then like all these women were like instantly saw what she was doing and was like, girl, guys can't know about this. And then there were guys like, wait, really?
Oh my god!
Because that is okay. I have a rule, TMI, but if say I'm alone, I jack off. I'm not going outside for at least a half hour. I feel it's the Catholic guilt. I don't know.
Interesting.
I can't immediately come and then say hello to the bodega lady. You know what I mean? I need a buffer. So
what if would you miss your train for that?
I mean,
What if you jerk off, then you immediately have to leave?
I can't do that.
Wow.
No. I need to be in the zone. No, I can't. First of all, the morning in general, it's bad news, right? I've seen a comedian talk about this where he's like, as a guy, you're like, well, what do I do all this stuff for then? I'm going to go to work. Why? I already have my Maslow's hierarchy of needs, first level, taken care of.
Yeah.
That I looked at, so you know the Maslow's hierarchy needs?
Yeah, it's like what, food, sex, whatever.
So like the for the listeners, if you don't know, like it's basically a pyramid, and the point is like the stuff you need after everything else is taken care of. So the point, I think, is like self-actualization, right? So it's like I feel confident and self-assured in who I am. Like that comes at the very end. At the base of the pyramid is the stuff like you need today or you're gonna die. So like water, food, shelter.
To fuck a horse.
To fuck a horse. You need to fuck it. Well, for somebody's Maslow's hierarchy needs is to fuck a horse. But what I think is funny is that you'll see somewhere they put sex on the bottom rung, and some they put like sex like near like relationships, not like romantic relationships, but just like a feeling of belonging and family and friendships and stuff. And I feel like who's ever designing those pyramids is a man and a woman respectively.
Yeah, or just like they're like asexuals. That's so crazy to me. The fucking asexuals.
Dude.
I think they're real because there are hot ones. Is that like politically incorrect? Is it? Oh my god, they're gonna kill me now. But like when people are hot and they're asexual, I'm like, okay, like clearly you've had the opportunity.
Yeah.
You just don't want to.
That must be such a trip. Now at least we know what it is, right? To be an asexual in like 1820, and you're like, what? You can't Google it. You're like, I don't like this thing that ever, because it's so funny how far in the other direction you could be, right? You could be so horny that it ruins your life. You know, you can't run for office anymore, you know? Meanwhile, they're like, I have to do it because my spouse insists, but I'd prefer not to.
Wow.
You know?
Maybe it was easier though because there wasn't like porn everywhere.
That's true.
Yeah.
We're horned up, dude.
We are. In the 1800s or like whenever, there were basically just like magazines that would come out with like kind of scandalous poems. Like
jacking off to
isn't that right? You had to like jack off to poetry.
I'm supposed to touch myself to like Tao and thou and art.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm doing. That's my hierarchy of needs. I gotta have a thou every day or I can't come. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
It is funny how different male and female sexuality is. Like the fact that a woman could read a book and flick the bean to it. Can't key into that
I used to get really horny reading Urban Dictionary definitions.
Excuse me.
Okay, so on Urban Dictionary, they would have like If you looked up like sex on Urban Dictionary, it'd be like sex, and then it would give you the definition, which like to them was like intercourse, and then it would be like give an example, and the examples were all stories
Okay.
because it was all like user submitted.
Uh-huh.
So it would be like sex, the act of putting a penis in a vagina. Example: Kyle was in school taking a test that day, thinking about Emily. And it would be like a long sexual story. It was basically just like an excuse to do fan fiction.
Oh,
but there were some steamy ones that I was into that shit. Oh my God. I didn't even watch porn because I was so into Urban Dictionary. I didn't even need porn.
That's beautiful. I'm honestly jealous because as an adolescent, I was stuck watching scrambled porn.
Was scramble porn?
So we're like the same age, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
But so for anyone younger than a millennial, you would turn on the TV in the upper channels. Like if you didn't pay a subscription to have like HBO or whatever, it wouldn't just be, for whatever reason, it wouldn't be like a black screen. It would be like snow. And you could like barely hear and see stuff, but like sometimes you would. So there was like, I still remember it was channel 86. And it was, they were lesbians. Very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's less exciting for you, but you know.
It was definitely like confusing for me because I think lesbian stuff I didn't really care about until it was like friends of mine. But when it was just two women doing that, I was like, good for them. You know, I didn't like equate that to myself. But I think with dudes, they see two women fucking, they're like, oh yeah, like two of what I like. Let's go, you know.
We're very visual.
Very visual creatures,
But
yeah.
you know, that changed for me after I had sex. This is how I
This is how you have
is how I do it. Is that I
like an ET phoning. You just touch fingies and you come.
Once I experienced sex, I shifted from liking lesbian porn to straight porn.
Interesting.
And I think it was because I was able to imagine being the guy more.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
That is interesting.
I'm like, oh, if that was happening to me, I would like that. Whereas like, as like an adolescent and someone that hadn't had sex, I was like, oh, well, I'm attracted to women and those are two women.
Yes.
You know?
That makes sense. The times I have watched porn, it's been pretty minimal, but like I realize I like the angle that shows I like straight porn, but I like the angle that shows men's backs.
Okay.
Because it's like the one feature I like more on a guy than a girl is like a guy's back.
Okay.
I like that it's like muscly and kind of like it kind of like twitches a little bit.
Okay.
But I've thought about that and I'm like, unless you peg a guy, which most men won't let you do, like you won't see a bit unless you're I don't know.
No, stay away from my butt.
Stay away.
I know I said that to all my listeners.
All of the listeners, there's gonna be a swarm tomorrow by your house. They're all gonna be trying to touch your butt. Yeah. But
release the butt.
Release
it's like
the
January
butt.
6th, but it's outside of my apartment.
Yeah, unlock
my
her.
butthole's the
Unlock her up.
My asshole is a woman.
Doing January 6th, but for your butt. It's like someone's worst nightmare. That's what men think people are gonna do to their butt when someone tries to put a finger in their ass. People think they're like, oh, that reminds me of something. Mm-hmm. I was at during the World Series run, which ended very tragically for us Yankees fans. Very sad. I was getting into the habit of watching Yankees games at random bars.
Okay.
And I met this one guy. We immediately hit it off. I told him I was gay. Well, I think I said I was gay, even though the true answer is like into women mostly. But I wasn't gonna get into that with him. He was just some guy I met at a bar. And we exchanged numbers in case he like came back to the bar the next night. So I was there the next night. I text him. I was like, are you coming to watch this game? And he goes, no, but I just had something happen that you could use in your stand-up. Because he found out I was a comic. I was like writing notes in a notebook for like a set I had that night.
Okay.
And I was like, what happened? He said, the girl tried to put a finger in my ass and it ruined my night.
Ruined your night?
I was also like, how am I going to use that in my act? My impression of doing that is like, hey, isn't it crazy when something happens to someone else? How am I going to do that?
Yeah, I don't know. First of all, that guy needs to grow a pair because first of all,
Yeah.
I will say the lady should have asked first.
Yes.
But I would have, if that were me, here's what I would have done. Oh, no. And then keep going back.
And then you
Just
keep
a
going
quick,
back to the
I would whack my finger and
Yeah.
go, no.
You could tell he was like crazy. Like, I don't know. He was like a right-wing dude. I remember at one point, like, and this is what you were talking about, how like with like a Trump supporter, like most people, you kind of talk to them about anything.
Right.
I met him watching sports. So that was the context I knew him. And in that context, he was very nice. At one point, he pulls out a video of Kamala Harris talking and he shows it to me. He goes, "What do you think?" And
Insane.
I start laughing. I go, "I think you know what I think." And then we just both kind of laugh and like didn't address it.
I remember one time I was at a show and it was hosted by Jay Jordan, who's like famous now.
Yeah.
Right. But this is years ago, and he just agreed to host my bar show in the upper Manhattan. I don't even remember which side it was, but there was a guy there, and he was actually a regular at the bar, and he would come to the shows all the time. He was a great audience member, but he always wore his MAGA hat.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I talked to him about it before, this is while Trump was president the first time. Right. And after a certain point, it's like, yeah, whatever, you're coming to the show. What are we going to do? Argue with him? And Jay Jordan hosted, and this guy, for those that don't know, Jay is a bisexual black man. He's talking about, I'm in a gay interracial relationship. This older Trump supporting guy was like, "Oh, I love this guy." He like laughed his balls off.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, you can. I mean, you also don't want to you don't want to say, let's all kumbaya our way into fascism,
I know. I think there is a certain like thing on the right where it's like, if you're, I think that like people on the right have like a misperception of liberals, but then when they actually meet people they perceive as like quote liberal, like they don't really care.
Yeah.
Like I think that like most right-wing people like know gay people.
Right.
And they maybe even know trans people.
Right.
But there's so much propaganda that's like, filtered into the culture war.
Mm-hmm.
So it's this idea that like, I'm cool with some people, but not these drag queens who come, influence kids in classrooms and give them surgeries. And it's hard to be like, well, that's not happening because there's so much money fed into those narratives, I think. But like when you actually talk to people on the ground in any kind of way, if you're organizing or if you're going and just talk to people, most people I think are good.
Yeah.
I think that in general, and I feel like a lot of people tend to disagree with me and they're like, most people are bad. I'm like, okay, edgelord, like go be Holden Caulfield about it. Like, I think most people are good. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know. I don't even know where I was going with that, but just like, it drives me crazy when people will write off somebody like for the things that they believe, because the things that they believe can change. I think that like there are political actors who like their whole job is to like go into right-wing places and try and change people's minds.
Right.
That's not a job I would do. I would get incredibly frustrated and I would throw my hands up and leave and be like, I can never change these people's minds. But I think if you talk to someone long enough, and it sucks, right? Because you don't want to have to be like the model minority or whatever. And you don't want to like, I understand that a lot of people don't want to do the work of like outreach or education. But I just don't know that everyone's as hard to reach as we all think. I don't know. I think there's like a lot more that brings us together than divides us.
Yeah. And also on social media, you see the worst version of the worst people.
Yeah, well, I think on social media, like everyone's like looking to get mad because it keeps you on social media. It's like you're being fed, you're being driven to comment, you're being like driven to even like the election coverage, right? The election coverage is designed to like stress people out as much as possible in either direction.
I was talking to my friend Jesse, who was on the podcast before, and he was talking about rage bait on social media, and he's very smart, and he's able to like look outside of himself, which I think is like a really good quality to have. And he goes, I watch it and it almost gets me every time. He's like, how could he possibly? Oh, wait, this is on purpose.
Yeah.
This is literally going to comment and being like, oh no, like it's an engagement farm. That's all this is.
Yes.
You know?
I think that even like in interpersonal ways, rage bait impacts people. I like ran into a friend recently who told me that we were catching up and he was like, oh, I have a girlfriend now. And I was like, how's that going? He said, oh, I get really jealous sometimes because she's like hot and funny and a lot of men like her. And I feel like I'm having this deep jealousy. And so we like dug into it. And like halfway through the conversation, he goes, I'm just realizing now, like, because I'm a guy, all this stuff gets fed to me on social media that's like, your woman is disrespecting you right now. Like, you're being cheated on right now. You don't even know. You gotta man up and deal with it. And he's like, I watch that stuff like almost ironically, but I think it might be getting to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. Like, if you ever get jealous again, like, remember, like, that's what Jordan Peterson wants. You know? That's what fucking Andrew Tate wants you to do, because that's what's going to drive, like, that's what drives people to get radicalized, is like that rage and that anger. And I think it is easier for men to get radicalized than women. Because we as women, we like sometimes see a little bit behind the curtain because we're like told all these things about what women are and aren't. We have to like unpack it for ourselves. But I think guys fall into narratives a lot. That's my theory.
Huh. Yeah, that's interesting. I think, I do think everybody has to be cautious of the algorithm.
Yeah.
Capital T, capital A.
Yeah.
Because you could just, I understand how it could happen. I Google almost everything on Google Incognito.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not just like porn and how to spell simple words, like everything. You know what I mean? Just because I'm like, I don't want the curation of my thoughts on this device, because you could very quickly be shown stuff by crackpots.
Yeah.
And not because I love history, and YouTube is you know, they kind of toe the line because they want to make money, but they don't want to spread misinformation. But I've seen stuff that I'm like, this seems Holocaust denial adjacent.
Oh, yeah.
And I have, like, again, I'm not like the smartest person.
You found my videos.
I found your videos.
Good.
Your podcast, Holocaust denial adjacent. But if you're younger, or just like don't have like a load of free times, a load of free time to like even research what you just saw or read, you could innocently be drawn into something like more nefarious. But I think it's usually not people with this grand conspiracy to like get you to be a political extremist. It's usually people, again, they want you to look at their content.
Yeah.
Because they're a content creator.
Yeah.
You know?
And as I was saying that, I am thinking like, I sometimes think it's easier for men to get rage baited, but women do get sucked into the algorithm in different ways. Like a lot of my friends watch like wedding TikTok.
Okay.
And that stuff is crazy because like you have to have like the engagement photo shoot and like the engagement party, and then the wedding has to be a certain way. And then they also watch videos that are like, here's how you get a man. Like or like if he's like ignoring you, here's how to get him back. And it's like so toxic, so unhealthy. I'm so glad that I'm mostly gay so that I can avoid it, you know, because like in a way it does become healthier to like, you know, not engage with that stuff. Because so many of these videos are like, ladies, if he's not texting you back, do these 3 simple tricks. And like, I see very intelligent women doing it. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? But I think it is algorithmic. I think like if you watch one of those videos, you're like in a bad place. Like you like a guy, he's not texting you. You can watch 3 of those videos in a row and suddenly that's all that comes up on your feed. And I think even if you don't agree with some of these videos, like no matter what you're watching or what gender you are, you might think you're like watching stuff ironically, but you are taking it in. Like my dad's a liberal, but he used to watch Fox News because he wanted to quote see the other side. But he would watch it so much. I was like, Dad, you're literally just watching Fox News. And Fox News is the ultimate rage baiter. They're the ones who are like, the transgenders are in your schools attacking you every day. And that's what's in his head now. And sometimes I see him get angry at random shit. Like, yeah, because you watch a guy yell at you all day. You know?
It's certainly more entertaining to watch than like read the front page of the Associated Press every day, which is what I try to do.
Yeah. What if newspapers started rage baiting? Just a lot of exclamation points.
That is kind of what some newspapers were like in the antebellum period.
Yeah.
They would literally have like, there were reputable newspapers, but there was basically like, if TikTok was a newspaper, those were around, where it would be like, hey, are you kind of dumb and also want to be angry? This is the newspaper for you. And it would have like a string of exclamation points.
It's like an old-timey drag queen in a school reading to a child.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
This has been happening since the 1840s.
I'm going to spread that rumor that it's been like a liberal thing since like the development of America.
Right.
There's been drag queens in every era.
Well, we covered a lot of ground, Gabby, and I like that we ended the podcast and we're two comedians talking about the differences between men and women. We're breaking ground.
This is an unexplored topic, you guys. We really did it.
So before we go, Gabby, can you remind the people where they could find you?
Hip Soccer Mom on Instagram. Follow me there. It's really the only social media I use. I should use more. Oh, I do have like a baseball Twitter, but I like pretty much only use it to retweet. It's I think the handle is either baseball camp or baseball is camp, because I tweet about the things in baseball that are like kind of gay or campy.
I love that.
Yeah.
Definitely. Gabby's a great follow, and I can't believe we didn't even begin to discuss your softball injury. That'll be the next time.
That'll be the next time. Yeah, I'll come on next time and talk about how I lost a tooth playing recreational softball.
But for now, folks, remember, early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. I'm just plain Night Owls. You know I love you.
Thank you.